Hello, it's Amy from Amy Parker Art and founder of Creative Warriors Membership. I am so excited to be here with you today. I am going to talk to you about my story, about my journey on how I became a working artist online. So I'm so excited too because I'm going to my stepdaughter's wedding today. So after I do this for you, I'm going to get ready with my daughters and we are going to have a good day. Hopefully, you are going to be doing something super fun today as well. So go ahead and let me know if you can see and hear me okay. And let me know where you're watching from. And I would love to know if you're seeing me for the first time. So, like I said, I'm going to talk to you about my journey, about my story on how this happened, how I became an online working artist, where I have paid my mortgage and bills just with my art income alone. So basically, my whole life I've been creative. Let me know if that's you as well. I just love art. I have a passion for art. People are like, oh, you're so talented. And yes, we can, have a passion for something, but, it is a bit of talent, but it also is something that is a learnable, teachable skill. Let me know if you agree with that as well, because, I had to develop my skill throughout the years as well, right? Um, this is something that I've always wanted to do my whole life. Like I said, I've had a passion for it, always been artsy, crafty. I really give kudos to my mom, who really instilled this in us as kids when I was little. I'm the oldest of four, and we used to walk along the beach. We lived by the ocean for quite some time. We'd collect shells, and she would help us paint them up, and we did our own like Christmas decorations for the tree during that time of year. We actually made some really festive looking cookies that we used to hang as ornaments, and then we'd like eat them right off the tree. And my mom was so great too. She let us play with like shaving cream all over the table and things like that. So if you are a mom with little kids, hint, hint, let them go ahead and get messy, because that's how they get creative and decide for themselves if this feels good, if they like to do, express themselves through creations like that. So thanks, Mom, for giving that to me. So that's kind of, at an early age, how I kind of fell in love with doing artsy, crafty, creative things. So, as my life went on, and I'm not going to talk about every single year because we would be here forever, right? So I'll speed it up a little bit. Um, but I really, really loved drawing and I really loved painting. Those were my favorite things that I kind of grew into. And, I remember I would watch artists that were actually working. Like if I went to a fair, or, um, we used to go to this place called Palace Playland when we lived by the beach. And I remember there was a portrait artist that was sitting there drawing people in charcoal. And I was just like totally amazed. Like, wow, how does this lady do this? I would go stand behind her for hours and just check this out and be amazed, right? So I really started thinking, like, geez, maybe I could kind of develop this skill and do this myself. So I did self teach myself, not just portrait drawing in charcoal and pastel, where I created portraits of people and animals, which were throughout the years one of my really good sellers. But I developed other aspects of my creative abilities, uh, by being self-taught. But when I say that, it's like, I studied other artists and what they were doing and things that I really liked and enjoyed. And hey, I'm the first to say I know I'm not the best artist in the world. And that's okay by me, because I love what I do and I love creating. And it has worked out for me because I have found my people who love my work, right? Um, and this is the kind of thing that I love to teach inside of my membership, because we need to know, we have to have some sort of marketing skills on how to grow that customer base and those art lovers of ours, right? But anyway, so let me back up a little bit. So I was developing my skills. It was something that I really loved to do at a young age. I knew I wanted to do this. And also at a young age, I heard from numerous people who were in my family, who I looked up to, who I loved and admired, tell me, Amy, you don't want to be a starving artist. You better figure out, what you really want to do in life. You got to have a background in something and yada, yada. So that kind of like crushed my soul a little bit, right? And as I got older, I'm like, whoa, this starving artist thing, really is a thing, right? Because I hear it everywhere, and it kind of like got burnt into my brain. So then, I was self-doubting myself, like, yes, I love to create and do this, and it would be so fun to do this as a business. Um, but maybe everyone who's telling me this is right? Because um, it's like a stigma out there, right? So, like I said, I started to believe that and self doubt myself, not with my abilities and skill as an artist, but with my ability to be able to make this into a business, to be an actual working artist and make money, right? So, like I said, that kind of crushed my soul a little bit because I'm like, oh, dang, that really stinks because I would love to be able to do something that I love to do and make money at it. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? So, I also really, really love business and marketing and being an entrepreneur. So I really started to kind of self teach myself through this as well, like finding different mentors to follow and just kind of going along that path and checking out different businesses and things like that. So I ended up getting my cosmetology license because that is creative as well. So I had this trade. And I used that intermittently throughout my life. I did own a hair salon where I had employees. I also had a cleaning company for a while where I had independent contractors. So I really love business and I love being an artist and I love creating. There were numerous other businesses as entrepreneurs, if you are like that we think of and we're like, oh, let's try this. And so there's numerous other ones that I have tried out that didn't work out. I kind of fell on my face with those, and that's okay because they're all learning experiences that we can learn from those mistakes and kind of propel us forward. So the two that I mentioned, my cleaning business that I had for a while and my hair salon, did generate some money for me and it did grow. So, in that aspect, that was a positive thing. So I still want to do my art, right? All of these years. And while I was doing my other businesses, so I also did little side gigs with my art. Like I would do arts and craft shows. Let me know if that's you, if you've done in person arts and craft shows. I got involved with my art association. This is why while I was running my cleaning company and then while I was running my hair salon. So I was doing my art on the side a little bit here and there. I went around to businesses and asked restaurants, hey, I'd bring in some paintings. Would you like to hang some pieces in here? And, I'd give them a percentage, things like that. So I did do that as well. I also rented kiosks in malls where I would go in for certain seasons and times of year, and I would paint and draw and do some sales like that. If you have done any of this stuff, I would love to know. Go ahead and let me know if you have. Um, so and I've done some fairs and did like some drawings and paintings on like boardwalks and things like that. Basically anything my little entrepreneurial mind could come up with to try and get my art out there intermittently while I'm running my other businesses, right? So my hair salon was the one that I had the last business that I had before I turned into doing this online art business for myself for real. Okay. So I was doing I was doing the hair salon, and I really loved that because I like being an entrepreneur. I like being in control of my own destiny. But I still was missing something, right? Because even though, I was building that business, I couldn't help in my mind always going back to, I really want to do art. That's really what I want to do, right? So, um, one day at the salon, one of my employees, who is a really good friend of mine, she's like, "You need to go home and take a break." So if you have owned a business in the past, or maybe you do now, as being a business owner, it's like you want to try and do all the things, and you feel like you got to be there 24/7. And I just kind of had that mindset, right? And which kind of ran me ragged sometimes, right? So Danielle's like, go home and take a break. I got this. I'll take care of everything in the shop for a couple of days. You really should take some time off. And I looked at her, I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to go home and do that. It's hard to give up that part of your business and put it into someone else's hands. But I did trust her very much, and she did a wonderful job. So I did go home, and it was hard to not call and be like, how's everything going? She's like, I'll call you if there's a problem. So I took that time to kind of rest up a bit, kind of reflect. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't I haven't created any art in a while because I've been busy cutting hair, running the salon. So I'm going to do that for myself. So I grabbed my sketch pad. I drew a portrait of my dog Seether, who has since passed, but what a wonderful dog, my boxer. He was amazing. So I drew a charcoal portrait of him, and I posted it on my social. And then the next day I got up and I had a slew of comments, and I had messages in my inbox, and voila, 5 orders for portrait drawings. I'm like, OMG. And I wasn't very techy back then. I'm still not like the tech master, but I have learned quite a bit throughout the years since I've been working online. But I was not very techy, and I had that kind of self doubt too. Like, um, geez, this would be great if I could run an online art business, but I don't really have any tech skills. It's like I know how to make a post, and that's kind of it. I didn't have my own website. I never really thought too much into it at that point because, like I said, I was running my brick and mortar hair salon. But when I got up that morning and I saw the responses, um, something went off in my brain, a little light bulb. And I'm like, geez, maybe this online thing really could work, which would be great because I really would like to be able to draw and paint in my own home studio. My kids were younger then. I thought it would be great to be home for the kids, be able to leave to bring them wherever they had to go, school and back, things like that. And I just started to like visualize and dream and envision that. Even though one part of my brain, or like on one shoulder, right, it's like, oh, you don't have the techie skills to do that. But on the other side, it's like, I do have some business skills, and I am, pretty good at art, and it's something that I like to do. So I started thinking more about it. And then, some days went by. I talked to my husband about it one morning. We were having coffee, and he's like, Amy, I've heard you talk about this numerous times. Why don't you just go ahead and go for it? So, to speed up the process of my story here, I did end up closing the hair salon and going in full time online. I do not recommend just quitting a job that you're working where you have money coming in and trying this, right? I actually took a side gig job as a waitress where I was an employee for someone else while I was building my art business. Um, so yes, amazing where visualizations can take you. You are absolutely right. I would call out your name, but I just see Facebook user. I probably know you. I hope that I do. If not, thank you for being here and watching. Um, so with that being said, too, I am using StreamYard. So you have to allow StreamYard to give me the okay to see your profile so I know who I'm talking to. It should be right in or around here, but that's okay. Go ahead and join in the combo. So squirrel moment here. So yes, I did that visualization. I ended up making that decision to close the shop. I did also make that decision to take a part-time waitress job so that I would still have some money coming in, but not work as many hours. And it's quite a difference to be an employee or to actually own a business. So for me, that was like a weight off my shoulders. It's like, okay, this is great. I can go do my waitress job, talk to people, and serve them and do my art business on the side, which is what I did. I still remember sitting in the restaurant during like some down slow times where I was actually drawing right on camera. I started turning my live button on at that point, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. I'm just like, I'm going to let people see what I'm doing. Right. And so I started to build that a little bit that way. Then I'd go home and I'd brainstorm and like, how am I going to do this? So speed up the story a bit. And I waitressed for maybe 6 months while I was building this up. And that time frame, would be different for anybody that decided to do this, depending on when you have money coming in from your art sales, right? So I went online to do this back in 2018. And I ended up starting what I call inside of Creative Warriors, and I teach them how to do. I created a collectors group for me, which is a place where people online who are interested in my work could come and become members and see what I'm doing for work, right? So I did numerous portrait drawings of people and animals, took all kinds of orders for that. And even though I've done quite a few commissions and orders throughout my lifetime, I thought, geez, I'm doing something new here. I'm taking all these amazing steps where, it's a bit scary, but it's a bit exciting as well. Why don't I try focusing on the part of art that I really, really enjoy the most? So, what I started doing shortly after was creating acrylic paintings of landscapes mostly. And I really love abstract. So I did abstract landscapes, did some still lifes, basically anything that lit my own fire, right? And instead of having, which I'm not knocking, by the way, and I still do take on once in a great while commissions and custom orders. But I really wanted to paint what I felt like painting and what I love to paint. And I'm very inspired by nature. I take a walk every day. I like to be outside in nature. The beach is also one of my happy places. So I get inspired by this stuff and then I turn around and create paintings. And I'm a quick, fast acrylic painter. Yes, I can go the other end where I take my time and I can work for hours, days, or weeks on a painting, which the price point at that price point would obviously be higher. But I do have some speed because I've painted for a while, and I teach all kinds of tricks on how to do this with painting tutorials per month inside of my membership. But I decided to make some quick, fast sales and to build my business is to try and attract like the home decor type of art collector. And they don't really call themselves art collectors. They don't really know they're an art collector. They just know that they love art. But let me tell you, anyone that collects art, purchases pieces from you, they're an art collector, right? But I made most of my money with quick, fast acrylic paintings like this on typically a 16 by 20 size that I would sell for typically under $100. So I was making sales left and right in that collectors group of mine. I was building up my collector base. At one point, I had 1,500 people inside of my collectors group. And then I went down and dwindled through and decided, who really wants to be here, who are the ones engaging, things like that. And I have tips and tricks to show you how to do that with inside of my Creative Warriors membership that I created for artists. So we talk about that stuff too. So I've got over 700 people in there currently in my own group for my paintings. Um, so anyway, I did just to give you a number. I actually surprised myself. I'm not rich, but I'm not starving. I actually made $10,000 within the first 5 months of me doing this online. And literally, I still did not have a website. I still barely had any techie skills. And I just knew that I loved to paint and put my paintings out there. And I love to talk to my art lovers who loved my paintings. So I started to do that, and I was really amazed at what I could do when I really switched that mindset and said, why don't I just give this a shot? So I quit the waitress job and started to do that, do my art full time online. So for me, it was a dream come true because I always wanted to be able to support myself, where I actually did pay my mortgage and bills every month with my art income alone for 3 years consecutively. And, throughout that time, of course, I have artistic friends and a lot of family members who are artistic, and I was talking to them, and I was in some other art groups and things like that, and I would notice what they were saying, and I would see that they were struggling, and they were like, "Whoa, how do you do that? I would love to do that too." And oh my gosh, I never thought that could be possible, and I don't know where to get started, and I don't know what to price my paintings, and there's so many questions, right? So I'm like, why don't I just turn this into something that I can help other artists with? So that's exactly what I did. And that's how Creative Warriors was born. So Creative Warriors is still, fairly young. We're a bit over a year old now, but within that membership, which is open right now, I have helped numerous artists with their businesses, with building up their self confidence, with teaching them some techie skills. You may need that, you may not. Same with artistic skills. But let me tell you, you don't really have to be that techie to get started. You just have to know where to go and what to do. Yes, I do teach I actually teach a lot of that stuff inside of the membership. I have a bunch of trainings in there. I had recorded my journey as an artist, a working artist online, on what I did and what I just told you. And I turned around and created step by step processes on what I did to get where I am. And then I put that inside of the membership that I've created for artists, for creative people. So I really hope that you join us as a creative warrior. I hope that you've been inspired by my story. If you have any questions that I'll go ahead and ask, like I said, I'm going to my stepdaughter's wedding today, so I'm going to be busy doing that pretty soon. But I always do come back and check. And as you know, if you follow me, I will go through and I will check and see what you're saying. I will answer you back. But there is a link in or around here to go ahead and join Creative Warriors. Now, I do help you. Like I said, I hold you by the hand through this process. This is something that you can do on your own time. That's one of the beauties about becoming a Creative Warrior member is, of course, I want to pump you up and help you out, but I'm not there saying, you got to do this and you have to do it this time and day. You make your own schedule. You do it on your own time. If you're working another job, you work it around that. Whatever makes sense for you in your home life, that's totally fine because I'm all about empowering you with the creative possibilities and watching you grow and take those steps. And there's so many of creative warriors who I'm just super proud of. They're making steps in their businesses. They're getting commissions. They're making sales. They are setting up their collectors group. They're growing their pages. They're doing all of these amazing things. And I know this because they tell me. They show us inside of our members group. I see their beautiful faces 2 times a month And if you become a member, you would do this with us as well. You can hop on the Zoom meeting where I give them a brainstorm session. It's called 2 times a month. And I'm mentioning this because it is one of those special highlights of being a member, right? It's a place where we support each other, where you can collaborate and meet other members, where we can do this together and you're not alone. So I really hope that you join us. Other than the brainstorm sessions, we do all kinds of fun things. Like I said, I give you a painting tutorial once per month, which comes with a marketing pack as well. So it takes the thinking out of that. If you want to just go ahead and create that and, put that out there and market it, I do give that to you. Also, I give you a social media tip every single month, as well as a marketing tip. So if you join now, we are only open, by the way, until tomorrow night. I only open the doors to this 2 times per year, once in May and once in September. So you do have until tomorrow night. If you decide to join, we would love to welcome you in. It really is amazing, and it really could be a life-changing experience for you. I'm saying that because my members have personally told me that. And I see it. I see it in their lives. So, I'm not going to go through every single little detail of that right now because I don't have the time. And I wanted to give you my story, which I just went through, on how I became a working artist online. So if you missed that, you can go back and watch the recording. I will leave it right here on the page or right here on my YouTube, wherever you are watching from. So thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead and reach out, ask me anything that you want, or go ahead and click on the link and join us as a Creative Warrior member. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye.